Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' spectacular 28-24 win versus the New York Jets in week number 17. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts and your opinions for this game down in the comment section below. Shout out to everybody who predicted that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would win this game in the preview video. That is greatly appreciated. It was a wild game, and we're just going to go top to bottom in terms of how this team did, starting off with arguably the most important guy of the game, Tom Brady. He finished this game 34 of 50 passing, 410 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was also only sacked 1 time in this game. So the offensive line did a pretty good job. Tom Brady was vintage Tom Brady at the end of this game. He had a fantastic, I believe it was a 92 yards, something along those lines, in the high 80s, low 90s yardage type of comeback to end the game, capping off with a deep touchdown pass to Cyril Grayson, who we will talk about here in a few moments. But Tom Brady was absolutely masterful. He was fantastic. Vintage Tom Brady, GOAT Tom Brady, whatever you want to call it, Tom Brady was that today in a positive way. It was absolutely fantastic to see. I think this does boost his MVP chances a decent amount. And now going forward into week number 18 versus the Carolina Panthers, the Buccaneers definitely still have some amazing momentum on their side by getting this comeback win here and not giving up. Tom Brady was a big reason for that. Going to the running back room, there wasn't a lot, to be had here. Keshawn finished the day with 31 rushing yards on 8 carries. That was good for 3.9 yards a carry. Ronald Jones finished the day with 26 rushing yards on 10 carries. It seems like he was actually benched for most of the second half of the game. We saw a lot more of Keshawn and Le'Veon Bell in certain situations. It could have been just because of the flow of the game, but also maybe they benched Ronald Jones. I don't know. It'll be something worth paying attention to. But again, like I said, the running game was lackluster. The Buccaneers definitely are missing Leonard Fournette, and I'm sure they'll be very happy and excited to get him back soon in the playoffs. Looking at the wide receiver core, Rob Gronkowski, he was fantastic today. 10 total targets, 7 receptions, 115 receiving yards. He was, arguably vintage Gronk today. He was powering through people, making tough catches. He did have, 1 or 2 really tough catches that he couldn't come down with, but overall, Gronkowski looked great today. Big rebound in regards to overall bouncing back after some rough games versus the Saints and versus the Carolina Panthers as well. Gronkowski did a phenomenal job. Cyril Grayson, who I mentioned had the game-winning touchdown connection with Tom Brady. He had 8 total targets on the day, 6 receptions, 81 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. This is another game where Cyril Grayson is proving that he can play. And in terms of long-term futures with the team, Grayson's making a great case for himself. He really is showing that he can do a lot of great things. He can catch underneath passes. He can catch deep balls. He's got great speed. He's good at run blocking. He can do a lot of good things for this Buccaneers offense. And he has been one of the best guys stepping up in the absence of guys like Chris Godwin and, Antonio Brown. Cyril Grayson might have to step up a lot more now, considering whatever the fallout is regarding Brown. I already talked about that situation in a separate video. Tyler Johnson finished the game with 4 receptions for 50 yards. He stepped up a little bit in this game as well. Made some very good plays late on in the game to get some crucial first downs. I thought that was wonderful to see. Mike Evans finished this game with 47 receiving yards on 4 receptions and a receiving touchdown. He needs about a little over 50 receiving yards in next week's game versus the Carolina Panthers to hit 1,000 receiving yards. Hopefully he can hit that mark, but you couldn't really tell that Mike Evans was hampered too much in this game. He looked, I think pretty darn good out there. The Jets put a lot of respect on him and covered him up for most of this game, but still, he finished with overall a decent of enough stat line in my opinion. Le'Veon Bell got some action today. He got 2 receptions for 30 yards. He also had 3 carries for 5 yards, but he did have a 2-point conversion at the end of the day to pretty much ice the game for the Bucs victory, so I got to give him props to that. Will we possibly see Le'Veon Bell more here in the Buccaneers offense moving forward? Who knows? We will just have to wait and see. But that's pretty much it for everybody who was, notable in regards to the offense. I talked about the offensive line. I think that they did a fantastic job. Now we are going to move on to the defense. And folks, I'm going to be honest, the defense was rough for most of this game. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. They were rough. But at the end of the day, at the end of the game, they made enough stops to where they were able to give the Buccaneers offense a chance to come back and win this game. The Buccaneers offense did just that. So while they had, let's say, not a great 2.5 quarters, they finished strong with a good 1.5 quarters, which I will give them, some credit for that, but they've got to start doing better earlier on in games. Yes, Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean were late to this game because of illness, protocols and whatnot. It messed up their travel, which is just another wrench to throw into, how many things this game could have gone wrong with. You had SMB and Jamel Dean be late. You had Antonio Brown quit on the team in the middle of the game. You had all these different types of things going on, and the Buccaneers still got the win. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. Carlton Davis finished this day with 8 total tackles, 1 pass deflection. Antoine Winfield Jr. also finished this day with 8 total tackles. Pierre Desir finished this game with 5 tackles. I thought he played all right. Overall, the cornerback room was a little bit iffy in this game. Could have been because, some guys might not even have been prepared to play in this game today, but because of those illness protocol travel restrictions, some guys were thrown into the fire, essentially. But all in all, they did still end up getting the stops that they needed to get. Kevin Minter finished the day with 5 total tackles. He played with some good fire in the second half, which I thought was a good thing to see there. Anthony Nelson was the best pass rusher on the day. 3 total tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection, and 1 quarterback hit. You could argue he was the most valuable guy on the defense today. I thought he played pretty darn well in a game where a guy like Joe Tryon was honestly disappointing in some ways in terms of his pass rushing abilities. Anthony Nelson was able to come in and step up in a big way, so I give him a lot of props for that. But folks, that's pretty much it in regards to notable players on defense. I mean, Steve McLendon had a tackle for loss, but the Buccaneers only finished today with 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback hits. I mean, Devin White had 1, Anthony Nelson had 1, like I said, Vita Vea had 1, and Will Golston had 1, but all in all, the defense, they had their rough moments in this game, but they made the most of their opportunities when they needed to. They got the stops when they needed to, and, thankfully they were still able to come out with a win. Ryan Suckup made all of his kicks today. I thought that was great. I thought that Sterling Hoffrichter did a really good job as the punter and kickoff specialist today as well. But, moving forward now, this is an incredible win. The Buccaneers, go ahead to 12-4 versus the Carolina Panthers here in week number 18. The Jets fall to 4-12, and we'll see if the Buccaneers are able to get that 1 seed. I think it is almost, pretty much out of reach, but this will also, determine who they play in round 1 of the playoffs if they have to play in round 1 of the playoffs. So I don't think the Buccaneers are going to let up. I don't believe they're going to rest their starters, although we will have to wait and see on that. And the offense did good. They got a lot of great momentum, in my opinion, for this comeback win. Yes, Antonio Brown left the team early, and that definitely rattled some people on the sidelines. They said as much during the broadcast, but a comeback win erases a lot of that doubt, a lot of that upset feelings. And I'm excited to see this team, hopefully keep the momentum rolling versus the Carolina Panthers in week number 18. What do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.